Well, good afternoon. Bonjour. Buenas tardes. I want to thank my friends and partners, Prime Minister Trudeau and President Peña Nieto, to Justin and the people of Ottawa and Canada. Thank you for your wonderful hospitality. This is my fourth North American Leaders Summit and the first that Canada is hosting in nearly a decade. And this reflects the new commitment that Prime Minister Trudeau has brought to our shared vision of a strong and integrated North America. So thank you so much, Justin. Let me start by once again commenting on the horrific terrorist attack that took place yesterday in Istanbul's main international airport, which is one of the busiest airports in the world. The prayers of the American people are with the people of Turkey, the people of Istanbul, and all those who were affected by this terrible crime. We have offered all assistance that we have available to our ally, Turkey, and we stand prepared to assist them during this difficult time. We're still learning all the facts, but we know this is part of our broader shared fight against terrorist networks, and we will continue to work closely with Turkey to root them out. And meanwhile, we're going to do what's necessary to protect our people. I'm confident that we can and we will defeat those who offer only death and destruction, and we will always remember, even as there are those who are trying to divide us, that we are stronger when we come together and work toward a better world together. We're reminded of this basic fact at this summit. Combined, our three nations are home to nearly 480 million people. We are bound together by family, including millions of immigrants who trace their roots to each other's countries. We're not only among each other's top trade partners, we are a global hub of innovation with integrated economies and supply chains and co-production that span our borders. On every security and global challenge, we are partners. And we're united by common values of democracy and pluralism and a commitment to human dignity. Over the past 8 years, I've worked to strengthen our partnerships with our friends in the Americas, and that begins with strengthening our relationship with Canada and Mexico. During my administration, for example, we boosted U.S. exports to Canada and Mexico by about 50%. That supports about 2.8 million American jobs. And today, as Justin and Enrique described, we agreed to build on that progress in several key areas. First, we agreed to make it even easier to do business together so that our region is even more competitive. We're bringing more advanced technologies and automation to our border crossings, which will reduce wait times for travelers and make it more affordable to trade. By the end of this year, we'll have a single trusted traveler program for all three of our countries, which will make it easier to travel while at the same time improving security. We'll continue to align our standards and regulations, which is especially important for small businesses who want to export more. We're going to do more together to promote women entrepreneurs and minority-owned businesses to succeed as well. And we're going to keep expanding our educational exchanges among our students. As has been mentioned, we discussed the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The politics of trade are always difficult in every country. I don't know any country where there aren't going to be some folks who argue against trade. But we all believe that in an integrated global economy, the goal is not for us to try to shut ourselves off from the world, but rather to work together to raise standards around the world for workers and for the environment. And that's exactly what TPP does. It's the right thing to do, and we're going to keep working for it. Given the flood of steel and aluminum on global markets, however, it points to the fact that free trade also has to be fair trade. And our three countries agreed to work together on a range of trade measures to enforce our rights and protect our workers and ensure a level playing field for the steel and aluminum industries here in North America. And given the vote of the United Kingdom to leave the European Union, our economic teams are going to continue to work together so that we remain focused on keeping our economies growing and making sure that the global financial system is stable, something I'm confident that we can do. Second, we're making sure that North America remains a leader in the fight against climate change, and I could not be prouder of the work that Justin and Enrique have done to help realize this important goal. All three of our nations are now committed to joining the Paris Agreement this year so we can bring it into force. We're announcing a new goal across our continents of generating 50% of our electricity with clean power by 2025, which is a bold goal but is an imminently achievable goal. The United States government's making a major commitment to purchase more clean energy for federal facilities and more clean and efficient government vehicles, and all three of our countries are committed to reducing methane emissions from the oil and gas sector by 40 to 45% by 2025. Third, we're going to do more to make sure that we're looking after the safety and health of our citizens from the danger of illicit drugs. And we're particularly focused right now on the epidemic of opioid abuse, including heroin, that is taking so many lives and devastating so many families. Our teams will meet this fall to make sure that we're coordinating our efforts, including more access to treatment, and as always, we will continue to be relentless against the criminals and narco-traffickers that are inflicting so much violence on communities. Fourth, we're deepening our cooperation on regional and global challenges. Joint efforts against diseases like Zika, helping our Central American partners address poverty and violence that have led to so many families and children making an extraordinarily dangerous trip to flee difficult circumstances. I want to thank Justin and Enrique for their government's strong support of our new approach to Cuba. And I'm also glad that our countries have agreed to do more around the world to address the refugee crisis and expand our peacekeeping efforts. In our own hemisphere, with the historic agreement in Colombia, a major step toward peace, our three nations are going to help the Colombians remove landmines as just one example of efforts to fortify what has been a very difficult negotiation. And given the very serious situation in Venezuela and the worsening plight of the Venezuelan people, together we're calling on the government and opposition to engage in meaningful dialogue and urge the Venezuelan government to respect the rule of law and the authority of the National Assembly. Political prisoners should be released, the democratic process should be respected, and that includes legitimate efforts to pursue a recall referendum consistent with Venezuelan law. In closing, we're determined to keep building on the progress that's been made at so many of the previous summits. And by the way, Enrique, I love the story about monarch butterflies. You know, they're not just any species, they are spectacular. And we want to make sure that our children, our grandchildren can see them as well. We're creating what we call the North American Caucus, which means our three governments will meet on a more regular basis. We're going to continue to deepen our trilateral cooperation in this hemisphere and around the world. And in short, we're going to do more to speak with one united North American voice on the world stage. We couldn't have better partners than Justin and Enrique. I'm confident that we're going to continue to advance regional cooperation and integration, and that's not just going to be good for our own people. That'll be good for the world as well. Merci beaucoup. Muchas gracias.